Hey guys, this is Iamvanguard with the Cardfight Vanguard podcast here with Domino Paris, Simon, and hey, Sean.
Hey, yo.
What's up?
I am Simon.
So actually,
You are.
so Sean, it's been a while. Well, it's been a while for very rare.
Desperate times call for desperate
Yeah,
measures.
desperate time for sure. But what's been on?
And I've just been busy with some life. My attention turned away a bit from paying attention to some
Yeah.
Vanguard stuff, but I've been catching up today. There's a lot to talk about, but just getting ready for some upcoming regional events that we're going to be attending. So
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
forward to
Apparently, you're also
testing with you.
underwater. Because, dang, your mic right now, bro.
Yeah, well, you know.
I'm gonna
So,
mail you a new headset, I swear.
how about you, Sean? What's been up with you since I know you've been kind of busy with everything? Is everything going good?
Busy times, doing the
Mm-hmm.
usual stuff.
Yeah. Like,
School, lacrosse,
mm-hmm. Oh,
usual
how's lacrosse
working.
going? Is that going good?
Good, good. I have other stuff going on in my life.
Awesome.
Just been super busy.
Mm-hmm.
Filled out 18 pages of questions the other day for something. That was insane.
And
Yeah.
how about you, Simon? How's everything for you?
Horrible. No, I'm just
Oh
kidding. It's
no.
fine.
But I was
Horrible is
No,
good for you.
no, continue.
I was gonna say, so I guess we can kind of get started because I know everyone just kind of is slowly catching up to the Vanguard update. So we'll start like very small. We'll talk about the Freedom Duos shop tournament winning decks. If you guys see the list I sent you, and we can kind of slowly talk about it. And then we can get into our main topic, which is the English conference that happened 2 days ago. So let's see here. So I am obviously Boss Sagra is still a deck that's going to be doing a lot of showing because Boss Sagra is a very solid deck in the format. And then I'm also seeing a lot of the Moongate deck, which I actually did like that deck at first, like when the deck first came out. I actually thought it was a nice concept. Like
I
it was
mean,
the
the
peak
deck,
of
the
filtering.
deck strategy is, yeah, deck strategy filtering is fine and everything. I would like to warn in advance, though, that as usual, because the new set came out, a lot of new stuff showing up is most likely just because new stuff showed up.
Hmm.
Real statistics will come in when the sample size data gets bigger.
No, no, 100%. And I'm also like I'm seeing Moongate, Sagra as the main run right now in the deck results. I see some Vargas here and there. I think I saw like three so far going down the list. And then
What did Varga get? Nothing?
they got they got something question mark.
Yeah. No, because the results are the results. I think Simon's right. Like, there's gonna be a lot of things that pop up week one, just
Ooh,
because
yo,
that's just how
Leo.
it works.
Someone's playing Leo. That's cool. Let's
But
go. The new one, because the new set just came out.
yeah,
Yep,
but I will
Draconis.
say
Hmm.
the rogue strategies also got support, and I think Aqua Libra and specifically Argo Siren are gonna be decks that pop up throughout the whole format. Both decks got really good resource management cards and ways
Oh, for
to
sure.
build around their main strategy and making their
Oh,
Vanguard rear guard stronger.
one of the shops in Japan did premium.
Yeah.
Ah.
Whoa.
Whoa!
Great sport.
Gonna one of one.
Yeah, so Leo, I was kind of expecting. Leo's not like super good, but I think it's definitely much better than what I expected to, so I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of it is just one-ofs, and I see a Shoujo Doji. I mean, it's just like people decks that people wanted to try, I guess. So, but mostly Boss Saga and the Moongate deck is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, no surprise there. The new Moongate cards allowing it to manage resources, let that deck play a lot of its strategies more, not just more consistently. It was already pretty consistent. It just gets to do more, right? Because the deck gassed out really quickly.
Oh yeah,
And Bavasagra got a tutor for Veilord, so
oh true. I was gonna say the nice thing is
Yeah. Yeah.
well, so I really like the toy deck. It seems like because of everything going on, the toy deck got filtered out for this tournament. So,
maybe.
but I still think it will be a solid deck even going into this format. So we'll see more results for that in the future. So what do
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
all
Like
think?
say,
Mhm.
it's like we don't know if the toy deck, we don't know if Heart Luru is gonna get muscled out yet, per se. But like you were saying, it's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you all think about the tournament's recent? Do you? I mean, I know that you guys were also giving your opinions that it's because the news that came out, so people are just playing what's hot. But do you think like this will be a continuing trend, or do you have any other expectations, like Sean said?
If anything has been shown by the meta in Japan so far, what's strong is strong, and it stays strong until like they make specific slayers, as I call them, to come in and stop those decks. For Bavasagra, I think that Bavasagra's top end is just so powerful. You can't really make the deck bad without just completely murdering it. Like it if it gets Veilord on the field, it doesn't even need the restanders. It just goes in, gets value. It has a 33k body for any attack it wants for one attack. It does everything, and that's sort of the problem with it is that you're not so in Vanguard specifically. You're not supposed to let a deck do everything better than every other deck, and that deck does do everything better than every other deck. So who knows how they're going to fix that? I don't know. The last time this happened in G series and V series, they nuked the format. Hopefully, they don't do that again. So,
Lord.
oh, and
Lord.
Gurguit, you and Gogurt.
Lord.
Gogurt got his boyfriend banned, and he was still one of the best decks. And they made Gogurt so okay with that ban that suddenly Thavis came out of nowhere, and he's like, "Oh, I do it too. I just do it as good as you now, so all three of us can share the podium." As for what you were mentioning with like Heart Luru and older decks and whatnot, unfortunately, the ceilings for a lot of those decks are sort of already made. I don't know if they want to raise the ceilings on them because that's a dangerous thing to do in Vanguard. Like they did it for yes, and they did it for what's his name, the Moongate deck. They did it for Vase Ruger with the new cards and giving it more resource management. And like I said, the data is still very young with no big sample size, but it even showing up now when it never did that much before. I'm like, okay, this might be a scenario where they got just the right amount of stuff finally to let them avalanche, just like Bava Saga. I don't know where the meta is going to go from 10 personally. With how powerful Bava Saga is, with how it got 3 of its 4 most powerful cards, aka 4 Veilords, went down to 1 effectively, 2 when you play the tutor. It's still one of the better decks out there. I don't know what to do to stop that deck. The other decks, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't care what the other decks do if they can't match up to Bava Saga. That's just the kind of competitive thinker I am. If you're not the best, you're the rest. So.
Valid statement. What do you think, Sean?
I'm just mainly on the side of I think a lot of the rogue strategies are going to surprise people this format. I think Argo Siren's actually a really good deck now, personally, just because of like all the resource management, way to maintain advantage and extension. Granted, it does lose to some of these higher top tier decks, but I think there's a chance for it. Same with Aqua Libra. I think that deck's actually like nuts now, and something I would consider taking if we had the same support, promos and all. Whole nother discussion, but yeah, don't sleep on your rogue decks this format. I think there's gonna be a lot to go around outside of like the usual core. Just because at the top of my head I could think of Argo Siren, Aqua Libra, well, it was kind of mid, but now it's kind of a powerhouse. Vergia and Eva, I guess.
How about you, Dan? I know with Vanguard.
Really, it's kind of like we're starting to hit that plateau point where Bob Soccer kind of set the standard where, as you see with later support, you either have to do something kind of unique and gimmicky, that deviates from what the core strategy of Bob Sagra, or you just become a four attack plus deck yourself. High numbers, four attacks or more. That's kind of like the minimum requirement nowadays for the meta. And what's nice with some of these other decks that Sean even mentioned is that they all do meet that requirement, but then they may have their own slight unique twist, that kind of differentiates themselves from each other. But Bob Sagra still represents the peak of the game meta right now. Currently being taken a slight down, taking down a notch slightly just opens up an opportunity for more decks. So there's going to be a little bit more expansion on the tier one decks out there, or even like the rogue decks out there. But Boss Saga is still going to be the standard. And really, when we get to this point where, kind of like as Simon touched on earlier, if you can't even Bob Saga is a collective when it comes to how good she is. I mean, you really have to kind of like nerf the deck to where people don't even think it's worth playing her anymore, or you have to reset the whole format. But I can't remember the last time that Bushi actually like destroyed a deck like purposely to where it's practically unplayable.
Especially if that deck is in the anime.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of like the idea. And I mean, it has been quite some time since Overdress itself has been out, so it seems like they're kind of like calling back from some of the legacy Overdress cards to be integrated into like Divines. And as tradition with every arc of Vanguard, there's gonna be like some pinnacle peak that they're gonna hit to where they can't kind of go back anymore. They kind of maxed out everything and they're gonna have to reset the format. So I'm actually more interested to see how like the end game of D series is going to look. But I think these are kind of like some baby steps towards that. I don't think we're there just yet, of course, but we're just basically seeing a transition of the power spike in the game. Well,
Fair point. So now kind of jumping in now that we're kind of a little warmed up. So let's talk about the big thing. The English conference that was announced 2 days ago. Right, Friday. So what do you guys? What's your inputs on all the stuff that's been announced?
let's quickly go down the list. Let's go quickly down the
Yeah,
list.
yeah. So
But what do we
Gabe says nervously as he forgot about the conference.
know?
I would say, um, basically, we caught up to their Japanese ban list. So they did two ban lists and one for us. So now we're caught up to Japan when it comes to ban lists. So that was
As
a big thing.
expected.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
was
I
expected. I thought they were going to take their time with it, but they decided to just catch us up, which is really nice because Balsagra is going to be a very strong deck. So I think it was the right call. And I think Bushy made a really good call on that, to be honest. So kudos to them.
Interesting enough, we talked about it even earlier, and we are wondering if they're going to do it before the regionals. But since they didn't do it before, like in the beginning of it, we figured maybe they'll just let it all ride out. But I guess they say, okay, this is enough. Let's just let's just get this
I
this
think
over with.
even Bushy wrote sick of Balsagra.
Yeah, they're like, all right, let's move on. You guys showed us enough.
And then they were just showing us the products that's coming out, and then a big thing is some of the prizes that's upcoming for BCS, and then the dates were announced. Well, sorry, the dates
Okay.
were not announced in the conference, but it was leaked. So we do have a date already that was leaked out from one of the I guess on the admin chats or whatever not. So we have that. But yeah, the pricing was really nice. I really did like the upcoming pricing this year. I think it was the same as Japan's pricing last year, I believe, last fall. So we're
Hmm.
like a year behind on pricing, I believe. because we're
We'll
getting
catch
the
up.
Hikari generator and the Now generator, the Evil Now. So either regionals, they both have females on, so it's not really a loss, right? So that was it, and then they have Sanctitude as a prizing, which looks really, really, really nice. They have
I actually like that one.
yeah, they have the Sanctitude for that one, or they have the Akina one, the Akina Sanctitude.
Who?
Akina Sanctitude.
That doesn't sound like a female name. I guess I'm just gonna get the normal one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, that's always what happens. But going on, I know that that was one of it, and then premium pricing is Hanalei.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good pricing for premium, and that's actually one of the reasons why I was like, oh, they're actually continuing premium. So that was another thing, and they still have top 8 prizes for premium as well, like the playmats and stuff. So that's really good. Let's see, I'm trying to remember. And then obviously for premium format itself, there was no announcement whatsoever. So no ban list, no new product announcement, nothing. And also, I think they are continuing to do the lyrical format depending on location. So that was probably one of the bigger things going on that conference.
And don't forget the delay in the start decks.
Well, I mean, that one we already knew because they made an announcement for it.
Made my choice for Philly very easy.
Yeah, I mean, it made my choice very easy too, so I'm kind of okay with it. And also, I guess another thing is we're getting the Brave Burn collab in December. And then
What set is December for Bravern? I don't remember what that release is.
Set
they
9.
have the one with the new prison deck coming out.
No, what set is it? I think Sean said it. What set is it, Sean? That we're getting the
it's set
Bravern
9.
collab in?
Set 11.
Oh, it's set 11. My bad.
Yeah, set 10 is the Liel set. Set 11 is the set after.
So we're getting set 11 in December then.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh,
That's quick.
also Simon. Alfred playmat.
I saw.
October Vanguard Day. We going in.
Hey man, that playmat's nice and all, but I gotta get me a Galatine in English, man. Tell me where Galatine is. He gotta
True.
clock in. We got the company going. He gotta clock in.
Oh, also, the nice thing about the pricing this year is they're doing the persona tickets. So they have the character persona tickets now.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Oh, interesting.
and then they have the Aqua Libra FR ride line. Let's see, they have the Odium ride line. They have the Levy Dress FR ride line. What's the other one? They have Impaldio ride line as well. I don't know what that Keter one is, so we'll pass. But yeah, so they have the ride line things going on too, so that's kind of nice. I was gonna say the Persona ticket looks really, really, really good though. It's basically the energy generator, but instead they have it as a Persona ticket, like the same artwork.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really glad all these prizes are like
Good
cards that like, people play. You know what I mean? Like,
and I actually think that's a really good thing. Like, I think
it's why the
Bushiroad's
energy
doing it really
generators
well.
are so well received because every deck needs an energy generator that they're going with Cray Elementals.
And Persona ticket will be the future, so I see them projecting that. So that's a good idea, right?
Yeah.
Oh, they have another Duels Cup that's coming up in October. It's the Hikari and the Akina Halloween playmat, so that one's kind of cute, right?
Even I will admit that one is pretty dang cute.
Yeah, but it's the Holiday Cruise Cup one. Man, that one's kind of goated though. So yeah, so let's start talking about the ban list because I know that we already expected, so we already kind of talked about it, right?
I
So,
mean, I'm sure it's exhausted at this point with online conversations, but let's be part of that trend.
right, right, right.
We will
So,
make it quick. That's what I will say.
well, I mean, we're only at 20 minutes, so go for it.
Like, if we're talking about the ban list coming over here, there's not really much we can talk about that's new, considering that we see the future with Japan. We always match up with them. Um, More than anything, I don't like I said, I'm more future looking, past America side of this, and thinking just about the game in general is what the crap are we gonna do about Bava Sagra so that she just stops dominating?
Just
Because
kill
if she dominates over there, she dominates over here,
it. Yeah, just
right?
kill it.
Yeah, like it's unfortunate that I actually do kind of agree with David on this, where it might just be a monster that's just too strong, and
It could be a
people
forensic
in
side.
uh like this is one of those scenarios because let's be fair, for us Vanguard vets, we know Bushiroad R&D is run by monkeys sometime or some parts of the year, and I don't know who who in Bushiroad R&D loves blind chicks so much that they went up to Mirei's deck and they said, "You get to have a 33k body for any attack you want at no cost, and you also get triple drive. You get to keep your critical." It's I'm just gonna go on again, so I'll just shorten it. The deck does everything the best. How do you stop a deck that does everything the best? And I think David might be right, regardless of how much I don't want that to happen to a deck. They might just have to kill the deck. They won't do it while the anime is still running, for sure. But after the deluxe tournament is done, and how often Mirai is going to be in the series going forward from there, I don't know what they're going to do to the deck to other than just kind of stab it in the heart, basically.
They need to.
I think legitimately the reason why I am so down bad on this is I legitimately think that deck is bad for the game. Like straight up. I think that deck is bad for the game because of the standard it sets, the implications of what happens if Bushiroad makes decks reach that standard, aka we self-destruct again and welcome to reboot number 3. And I just don't want that to happen to the game, even with the low amount of the game I've played lately, because I still love Vanguard. So I think that if you want to keep the game healthy, you're going to have to hit Bava Sagra to the point where, like Gabe said, the deck might just need to lose its legs.
Or
And then
in the anime, just give Mirai her eyesight back, and she doesn't have to play Vanguard ever again to prove any point. But yeah.
no, you fool! If you buff Mirai, you buff the deck. They're going to make it even better if you do that.
That video I made was for nothing. I'm just kidding.
Well, you're gonna make
But
another
yeah.
one.
Oh god, but yeah, like I hope that they do something about Bava Sagra. I don't want them to raise the power level of the game because that leads us towards the end point where we self-destruct again, and I just don't want the game to go through that again. Because
That's the
there's
last
only
resort.
so many of those we can do before people just have had enough and say, I don't want to play anymore. And that's what really scares me, is when people finally hit that breaking point.
I can agree with you.
Also, what's it called? I thought Time Leap was bad, but no, this is way worse than Time Leap for the Vanguard vets in the call.
I don't know. Time Leap was pretty bad.
Yeah, but
Time Leap
Time
was
Leap you at
bad.
least had 7Cs, Sanctuary Guard, Night
That's true.
Rose.
That's true. That's true.
Like,
Well,
I think
another
Buff
thing
Saga
about
is legitimately like the best deck in Vanguard ever created.
So
Personally.
another thing about Time Leap, from what Sean is talking about, right? At least for Time Leap, you had to know your lines of play. Like the spreadsheet to play Time Leap, sure, there was an enormous ceiling you could get, but who cares about the ceiling when the endpoint is always just going to be next stage and his harem of gear dudes? So you just needed to find out how to make the best attackers. Who cares what else you could go into? And that sheet, that combo line, was actually a relatively long that you had to learn it. And that means there are pitfalls that the gear player could accidentally do that made the play fall apart or not as good and let the other guy get a chance in the win. I agree with Sean right now. I think that Bava Sagra is so easy to play and has so much reward for it that that is part of the problem about why it is such a menace right now.
Can I add something to this?
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, I know that you guys said that there was a line of play, But to me, I felt like Gears didn't really have a crazy line of play. Like just like Balsagra, I also think Gears was actually pretty easy to play. The reason why I say that is no names, but I remember at locals there was a certain player that was he did not understand Vanguard lines. To play it, and I said, well, if he can play it, a monkey can pilot this deck too.
Gears at that time, it was just a deck where if like it will reward you if you do master and optimize the lines of play, as Simon mentioned, but it was also a deck that like you don't have to play it perfectly just to benefit from that deck more than other decks that you have to play twice as better, twice as well. Like that's really what it was. And I felt it too because I remember like playing it, and then when I was like learning it for the first time, I was messing up like a lot, but I still had such an advantage over a lot of other decks when I was playtesting against. Yeah, I didn't feel like I earned a lot of that. I was like, okay, sure. There's so much profiting, but it like you can,
All the bad players were
yeah.
a lot of profit.
Well, at least Well, at the very least, it was they were more successful with that deck compared to other decks. But I mean, that deck itself, I felt like can definitely carry you. But I think there was definitely a high ceiling and a high reward for those who actually can maximize that deck. But I mean,
Yeah, that's sort of like the
yeah,
point, right?
yeah,
Like, you
yeah.
can't mess up in Bava Sagra. You can mess up in Gear Chronicle. Like, a good example in Gear Chronicle, oops, I forgot I have no upstreams left in the deck. Or something like that, right? That is basically not possible for Bava Sagra because the line of combo that you have to do in Gears, and yes, like David said, anything can be easy when you memorize what the flowchart is. But the flowchart for Gears is longer than Bava Sagra. So you could just accidentally mess it up somewhere. And if you messed up not having the unit in the deck to call for Gears, that was it for Gears. Their combo stops right there. With Bava Sagra, how many Vader Lords are in your deck, basically? Oh, did you see it? There you go. 2-step flowchart. Done. Like, it's like Sean said, you can't really mess that up.
And 5 attack, counterblast 1 restand.
Oh, that's just part 2.
Once again, like I'm not like on it, but I feel like also a learning curve. I've actually had at the time, so there is some confusion at first, but once you get it, but I felt like the Gears was the same way. I've also tried it. So I would say both decks, like dominance and the skill set of it, they're very similar. Like that's what I don't think Bob Sagra is a easier deck because I've seen so many Bob Sagra mess up.
I think that the main claim is that the punishment window is smaller on Bob Sagra compared to Chrono Jet.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it's similar though. Like it's not like that.
I didn't say it was dissimilar. What I said is that the amount of times you can mess up in Gears is nowhere near as forgiving as the amount of times you can mess up in Bava Sagra. Like,
the punishment
in Gears,
like that.
yeah, like in Gears, you have to remember your grades, the unit you're jumping into, and if you miss on any of the leaps there, your combo is done. In Bava Sagra, do you have the grade 2? Do you have Vairlord? Okay, that's it.
Well, technically, I also forgot. Does have a line, so you don't get hurt for not writing the grade 1, 2, and 3. So yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I think it's also too that with Gear Chronicle, the reason why 7C's grade 1 rush even emerge is because the one hard counter to it is just to not let them stride, and the opponent does have control over that. So you can just play something that you can just hard counter them by just not riding up to 3 and just playing the grade 2 game. So that's where 7 Seas Rush came in. Obviously, not every deck can do it effectively. That's why that deck emerged. So it did emerge to do that, but then every other Stride deck got caught in that crossfire. So that's why those two decks still dominated. Because if you try to Stride, you get beat up by Chrono. If you didn't play the Stride game, well, you get beat up by Grade 1 Rush. So there was a window where you can either hard counter Chrono, or there's a bigger punishment window for the players to self-inflict themselves, if they did mess up. But with Bob Sagra, like, it's hard to really imagine, because even in my playtesting against it, it's hard. Like, I tried different things to mitigate their advantage. Like, I try to, you definitely, counterblasting is the one thing you have to try and manage against them. But even then, sometimes, like, that's not enough. It's just they have so many ways to get into their main pieces. And I think that's the main thing, is that they have a lot of ways to get into their main pieces so consistently. And while if you're playing other decks, sometimes like I don't have a full optimized draws for that game, so I'm probably not at my best. But with Boss Sagra, you really have to be at your best, and you have to play around them. Any deck that you play where your opponent has to automatically by default play around you while you get to play your normal strategy without worrying about your opponent, that should already tell you that much about the deck, how good it is. I always tell that to people. Like, that's always my one thing I always say. Like, if I have to worry, I remember back in Revenger days, right? It's like, man, I don't even have to worry about my opponent. I'm not worried about my opponent. I'm just worried about myself. As long as I can, hit my buttons, boom, I'm good. You're dealing with me. Like, right?
It's like
So
the sweaty
exactly.
guy meme.
Exactly. You're dealing with me.
You
I
gotta
don't
know
have
where
to deal with
you
you.
gotta know where the button is. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, look, I don't care. It's like, I don't care what you're playing, man. Like, I'm just worried about myself. I'm just here chilling. Like, you have to worry about me. I don't have to worry about you. So, like, that's really the perspective you kind of take on for really gauging how strong a deck is. So that's one way you could probably look at it, though. But I think everyone has made some good points on that on both ends.
Yeah. Other than that, rest of the ban list was
Well, I was gonna
so
say,
many.
there are some other things that we can also look at is but she also realized that Shoji Doji wasn't a big threat anymore, so they put it back to 2, just like Japan did, right?
That's fine.
So and
Did you
then
do
they cut down
anything
fencing
different
rules.
from?
No,
Yeah,
nothing is different.
Yeah, nothing different from with us and Japan, so it's the same thing.
Yeah, they hit
Okay.
the bad deck as we all expected, because that deck was super bad. Like Boss Sagra was bad, but that deck was also pretty bad.
See, the bat deck was the grade 1 rush to Chrono format. That's
Yeah,
basically what it was.
yeah.
But then, like, you can't have both of them existing, because again, the rest of the meta is gonna get caught in that crossfire, and then that's not fun for anybody at all.
That's the best player comp I've heard in Vanguard history.
Because there's always gonna be a counter. Like basically, if it's a mid-range type, basically any card game, when it comes in any card game, anything that's mid-range or later, when they start peaking, the window of opportunity to beat them is aggro. You play them in the early game where they're weakest. That's pretty much what it is. So hyper aggro would typically try to counteract mid-range, depending how strong the mid-range game is as far as stabilizing is concerned once they get going. And then everyone in between gets caught up, because you have to be really good at early or really damn good at late. That's pretty much how that is when the meta is sandwiched like that, and it's not healthy at all.
Agree. Yeah, no, agree for sure.
But yeah, I'm glad that the hyper aggro is gone, because yeah, I hate aggro.
I mean,
So I have a question
hyper
for you.
aggro means you can't play the game, so I see where Dave's coming from there.
Yeah, it's like, man, come on, man. It's like I just opened my drink. I just sat down, opened my drink, and my main course that you served me is already gone. Like, what the heck, man? I didn't even get to eat.
So question for you: if there was a deck that can hypo aggro Bob Sagra, do you think that would be an effective deck to kill that deck?
Yes.
Yes, well,
But then it will
we've
kill
already
the
seen
format.
it. Yeah, like that's pretty much what it is. When you have a deck at its peak like that, the solution is either you bump everyone else up, which it's difficult to do, and second, you're pretty much setting the game up to get reset again, as Simon said, because that's really how power creep really takes over a game. You don't really want to do that, and then at the same time, you don't want to necessarily kill the deck fully, because she is a character in the show that's ongoing. She has popularity. Like there are people,
Well, she's
like
already out of the
I
tournament. She's
like
already out.
yeah. And I don't necessarily like the idea of people who did put their money into building the decks just to not be able to play them. Because, in other card games, if that happens, but like usually they have a rotation, so you can kind of prepare ahead of time already. And a lot of times in some other card games, like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like it's just like a pile of staples, and then you just switch out some of the main cards. So you can kind of pivot around, and you can still reuse some of your cards. But like when you have everything dedicated to that deck, like I mean, you could switch to another Dragon Empire deck maybe, but if you were not for Dragon Empire, you only play Bobs, so that's kind of like the difficulty with that. But someone, I mean, not everyone's going to win when it comes to this sort of thing. It's going to be interesting though, because if Bob Saga really continues to dominate, like in the remainder of this season, I do anticipating them just killing off the deck. Just, I think like it could be something like make the restandard a 1, or I honestly think the restandard should just be set to 1.
Yeah. Or another thing was they were saying that they should hit.
I think
Like,
Trick
man,
Moon's fine.
to make
I
it
think the
a-
restandard just puts everything over the edge.
I think the reason why they did that Tom, is because of the fact that the restandard keeps giving a charge, we cannot really play it. Like
Wait. The restandard gives counter charge? I thought that was Trick Moon.
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking
Yeah.
about Trick Moon. Yeah.
Okay, PC. Okay.
No, I'm fine with the deck having counterblast, but it's just like when you could swing 50k multiple times, that's when I'm just like,
I agree.
I also think there could be a choice restriction between Trick Moon and the restandard, unless you just put them both to 1.
yeah, that's cool.
Like
Make it so they have to choose. That's not a bad idea.
choice
But-
restriction is always going to be a thing,
But yeah.
because Basaga technically needs a restander. It does need one, or else like it's going to be useless, like as a deck. So it does kind of need one. So that's kind of the difficulty of trying to find the balance, because you are hitting some really huge numbers backing the restander, but at the same time you don't want to take away their restanding ability, because that's literally what made them relevant at all in this format. So I think it's trying to find that balance.
So the restander is relevant, but technically the new Basaga itself is already really, really good. So I think that's
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so hitting the restander is the best call in my opinion, because
The one.
for example, if they hit Trick Moon, I feel that there is a that like let's say that Trick Moon was at 1 as well. To search it out, cycle. But I actually think hitting the restander is the better one. I think Simon remembers though, but I was saying this like from the first like time it got announced. Like that when the first ban list happened, I was discussing that they or not the tricking the restander. Because I instantly knew what the problem was. So
yeah. But we beat Dragon Empire for half the convo. The other restrictions, I don't know. Other than that, I'm just like,
Goodbye,
here.
Raziel. You have lost your rights. Your dog owning rights.
yeah.
Raziel will get something good eventually to get back into ladder, because that's just how Bushiroad always
I mean, he's the main character. He's
Yeah, he's the
destined to
main
get
character.
support until he's not the main character.
Yeah.
Levy just hit anything? Levy just do anything?
Two of the Shemets only 8 Shemet at 2, so hardly anything. If anything, it gives me the excuse to fit in more tech choices.
Let it be
Yeah, you
known
can
like
green
this
too.
instead. The thing that happened to Levi-Dras wasn't that he got hit, it's that the format became stronger than both of the kings.
Yeah,
So,
like that's why I also think like hitting the Levy dress and the Raphael was like not like I mean I'm not saying it was a wrong move, but it was like Balsagra was gonna be strong anyway, so it's like what was the point?
I think it's
The
just
point was to
to.
sell Bavasagra.
Oh, true,
Yeah,
true.
their point is just to assure that is to tie up loose ends and assure that the next support will have their time to shine. It's just assurance.
I really think Levy Dress is still really good.
Yeah, no,
I
It
no,
is
hundred
still really
percent.
good.
Levy
They're
dress is
both
probably
still
one.
really good. It's just that the strong stuff in the current game is that much stronger. Like, that's the thing about Japanese card games, Sean, but especially Vanguard as the context we're speaking of now. Nothing really gets weaker for the most part. It's that everything else keeps getting stronger. It's the arms race.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Raziel definitely lost its power without Synagogue compared to Levy dress, but with the new promo support that Raziel was showing some performance right after, but it still lost a lot of performance compared to like when they had the dog. So I feel like losing the dog was definitely a lot bigger than what people think it was.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Dog was
But
free. You can't really compete with free.
yeah, yeah, no, no, for sure. And I remember like you mentioned something about the Raziel and the dogs. I mean, like without the dog, like the deck is still good. Yes, but the thing is, with
In my opinion, dude, now that we've seen the meta shake out after it, even if Raziel kept the dog, I don't think he'd be better than these other decks. Like,
yeah, no,
Buff
100%.
Lava Sagra, man. Like, playing it and playing against it, I was just all like, how does this deck lose? It actually feels free.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying is like hitting the dog will just but you know, as Gabe was saying, new decks.
No interruptions.
That's why like there's a coming out like Leo, Drilled is gonna be a thing. So I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I think Minerva has actually been performing really well as well for set 9. We'll see how the set 10 flows, and if the other older decks will actually maintain. Because like I said, is I think the toy deck was really good, but then like set 10 comes out, everyone wants to try the new things. But what I'm curious is, would it actually stay in the meta? Because the deck itself was really solid. Same with Minerva as well. So. But I was gonna say, let's go into a little bit of a deeper topic. So, and like I said, we're probably gonna open the can of worms, right? But so premium, this has been the hot topic on Vanguardians, as Sean should know. But Vanguardians, this has been the hottest topic of premium not getting anything, no ban list, no support, nothing, right? So it seems a lot of players were triggered by that topic because that Bushiroad doesn't care about premium. I know that everyone has a little bit of different opinions about this topic. So how about we'll start with Sean, and then we'll go into Simon, Gabe, and then I'll go last.
Basically,
Unless you want to switch order, Sean.
I'll start, but I do want to hear from y'all on this, just because like I read a lot into it.
Mhm.
I even posted something about it for the first time in forever. And you know, it's all over not just Vanguardians, but also Twitter, Reddit, wherever you get your Vanguard news. I'm sure there's been talks about it. But honestly, I think rather than just losing our minds over it, I think what more people are mad about is the lack of communication on Bushiroad's end on what they want to do with premium. Because like, if there's no long-term future in premium, obviously I don't think they'll ever tell us like they did with V, because they were like, this is the last set until it's the last set. But I think people just want some clarity just because there is so much time invested in these things. And I, for one, am very upset that the BCS near me will not have premium, even though it, based on the numbers last year, was one of the highest attended premium events. So, yeah. Now I want to hear from you. Passing the ball to
You mean the
Simon.
bomb? You mean passing the bomb to Simon?
To me, it's a ball. Like, the big thing about premium and Bushiroad, I will state that it's good that people out there still want to play it. It's our legacy format. It's where all things released will filter into, so you hopefully get to do some like whack or cool stuff, right? And like Sean said, it still sees attendance, despite like what people think. Like, I don't ever see people attending our premium events when we have them, or premium like close to us. But if people still attend, people attend, right? I think that what pisses me off the most about this entire thing is that Bushiroad has taken the mask off and has done everything but outright state that we don't care about premium anymore. And I'm with everybody, especially those in the premium crowd, that say, just say it so we stop expecting things. Because to have the confirmation would be really nice. So you know not to expect things from them for premium anymore. So you know that they don't really care about you, with how cruel that sounds, but knowing is some sort of comfort. It's just, it feels like Bushiroad right now is stringing you along after it liked your picture on a dating app, and then they keep commenting on your post with emojis and stuff like that, but they don't say any real words. And then you keep seeing them post pictures to their profile with these other girls or boys, and you're like, yeah, but why do you keep talking to me? Like, where's that investment for me? I still send you, like, you know, comments and likes and stuff like that. If I were to put it in the modern kids analogy, I think that's what's hurting a lot of people right now. Is Bushiroad is stringing along a lot of people in premium, and people in premium would just want them to say the thing, just to say the word, so that they know not what to not expect. I myself have cut my relationship from Bushiroad's premium a very long time ago, but it was for very different reasons than what's happening now, which was, I don't think they're interested in keeping premium healthy from a power level standpoint. But that is much different than what's happening now, where people do like to engage in very powerful premium. And even those people are now going, well, you keep, like, all this stuff that's in standard that you print is inherently hostile to premium, and you didn't announce anything for premium in the recent program. And so, do you just not care about premium anymore? Because what I think of Bushiroad's opinion premium is assumed. I think what everybody else actually wants is confirmation. That's all I've got for this.
Oh yeah, like why would you be in a relationship where you're giving, and then they're taking, and all they give you at the end of it is a Kit Kat?
All they give you at the end of it was like my new post here, and it's just a picture of them hanging out with another partner, and you're all like, bro.
That other partner is standard. Oh Lord. It all starts with a swipe, boys. All right, let's pass the bomb to Gabe. Yeah.
So there's maybe 2 or 3 thoughts I have about this on Bushiroad's end. One, do they even have anyone in their R&D department who even cares about premium and or is knowledgeable enough to even like continue working with premium? Because we did see a huge mega nerf with a huge ban list not that long ago. And from what I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but there was a lot of input that they take from the community But the fact is that you have to take input for the community means that internally they don't even have anyone. They don't have a group at all who even is knowledgeable enough in premium. So that's one thing. And secondly, in a business standpoint, I'm also thinking, what can Bushiroad offer to the community that they can still make some profit of? I still in support of just doing a year, like an annual set, just to please the masses. Just getting even a few cards for every clan to work with that can just offer some new strategy or some new line of play to work with. With how talented I think the premium community can be, starting from the top with some of the groups of guys we know, I think something can be cooked up and there can open up new opportunities. And I think thirdly, as I mentioned, we are getting closer and closer to the end of D format. And with the end of another format, it does come to the question is, are they going to just make a new legacy format separately, kind of like how V format was, but they cut that off? Considering that they cut off V format, I'm curious if they're going to keep D format like as is and keep its own separate thing, or will they finally do what I know some of the players in our premium community has mentioned, is what maybe then they can just combine D with premium and then actually introduce energy into premium. So I like honestly, I think if they just simply introduce energy, the energy generator into premium, that would change so many dynamics, because that itself is kind of like giving support to premium, because now every card in D is available for premium. So in summary, is like, does Bushiro even have anyone internally who is even knowledgeable enough in R&D to focus on premium? My answer to that, I think, is no. They don't have anyone. And do they? And with that being said, do they? Is there even anything that they can introduce that will be profitable enough for them to think it's worth it? Especially with the tariffs now, they probably maybe don't want to just release sets for for like nothing that they don't think will bring enough profit for them. And and if we're going that route in this discussion, what exactly can they introduce that we think can be profitable to them as a business to put some value into for the premium? Or thirdly, or 2A or 2B or whatever, is would just simply combining D format with premium, or just allowing an energy generator in premium format, will that be enough to satisfy the player base?
On that product note, Gabe, like I had like the craziest idea while you were talking, just because like I remembered the flop of like revival selection. I don't know if you remember that,
Briefly.
Ugh,
where they
gross.
like gave like one thing to every clan, like one pack, and it was just a reprint set, but it was like the same 5 reprints. Like it was your one G guard, one stride, one your
It's the what do you call it, the bear clock or whatever.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Maybe give us actual revival selection. Oh yeah, your stride fodders, your like grade 1 +2. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, give us actual revival selection. Let the community vote on 4 or 5 cards that they want to see reprinted, and you guys pick the rest. And I guarantee you that will sell decently well.
That
Just
means
because like
Bushiroad has to
so many
engage with their
cards have
community,
value.
though.
Huh? What'd you
That
say,
means
Simon?
Bushiroad has to engage with their community, though.
I think Bushiroad America would, but I don't think Bushiroad
Well, that's what I mean. They
Bushiroad
don't have.
America.
I actually think it's the opposite. I
I
think
don't think Bushiroad
Bushiroad.
America exists.
So Bushiroad America, maybe. Bushiroad Singapore, good luck with that.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you for clarifying my statement.
Well, it's like I said, it goes back to what I mentioned. Internally, I don't even think they have anyone internally who even like cares for premium, plays premium at all. Especially when we think about, because again, Bushiroad and Singapore, they're the head honcho. It doesn't matter the other division. They're the ones who make the ultimate decision. And I mean, if they don't have anyone internally who doesn't even play and gets involved in premium, they don't have anyone with knowledge to introduce anything for us. And like, I know you could crowdsource and everything like that, but really you shouldn't be relying on the player base to decide your cards and everything. Because in the end, the developers are supposed to be the ones to make the decisions and introduce things for the player base. And what creates excitement for the player base is when they introduce stuff that maybe we don't expect, that we end up liking because we didn't think about it. but in the end, they gotta have like they don't have a dedicated department for that. Like I said, the fact is they had to pretty much crowdsource the last ban list just means that they don't know anything about premium. And in Japan and in the East area, they don't really care that much about premium. That's like its own
Yeah.
little minor league, They don't that doesn't matter for them. And like I mentioned, as far as profit, because they are a business, they have to introduce something that they can profit from. And like if they and if and and I agree with you guys, so Sean and Simon, that they just need to have some clarity on like, hey, we're not going to be there's going to be no more premium support, nothing like that, and whatever, because they do have to make it. They are a business. They have to find ways to make money. If they can't make money off premium in some way by introducing sets like I suggested in different ways, fine, so be it. But at the very least, like just let the community know what the plan is for premium, and at the very least, as a going away gift, just introduce the energy generator to premium.
Well, so on that, I don't think that's a good idea. For premium, my perspective, I get what you're saying. With the energy generator, they have access to every card which I think it's valid, but at the same time, like I think that's a very dangerous goal. Because for an energy generator to flip to premium, which means that premium is gonna have a lot of debt. And that essentially is the thing that divided premium and standard. The right
They
affected
don't have to. They don't have to. They could put it on like Harmonix Messiah or like Heat Element Magnum or Atmos and
like
Errata. Errata, make it like a one month shop promo. Like reveal this card when you ride, you get an energy generator crest. Yada
I mean,
yada.
that's not the worst idea
Like
either. But
just
I'm just saying it could be
reveal
really
card stride.
dangerous if they decided to make a ride deck in premium, though. That's what I'm saying.
No, they don't
Yeah,
have to make a ride deck. They can make a unique energy generator
Yeah,
and put
yeah.
a starter in that says reveal, or like how Harmonix Messiah was, put another generic stride in there or something, or token or whatever, and just say reveal this token, and then make an energy generator, and it's a premium exclusive.
Hmm.
That way,
yeah.
all cards that use Energy Blast can actually be used. I know I talked about it with some of the guys, and they said, yeah, like if we could just it's like, forget the ride deck. If we can just be able to use some of these energy blasting units, that can change a lot of dynamics of the game for the better. It just opened up a door for something. Like I think something as simple as that can be great. But how would they introduce that? Can they introduce that into a brand new set? And then also it's also thinking about it too because the game is constantly stacking up, and the whole reason why we had formats introduced years ago to begin with is that the pool was too big. And when the pool of a card game gets way too big, you either have to over-regulate it like a constant ban list like Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, or you do what other card games do is do a rotation. And I know rotation has been talked about in Vanguard multiple times, and it tends to be a very taboo or controversial topic because that is one thing that's with Vanguard is that there's no rotation. But at the same time, as we're continually stacking, years keep going by, there's more formats, and there I don't know, there may have to be a rotation. We kind of tried to do that with V format, but V format just fell apart. D format could be different because I think D format is way better than V format. But there has to be you either have to over-regulate the entire card pool, which they clearly do not have the capacity to do. So at this point, if you want some kind of premium, basically people want to play strides. Basically, if you want stride format, you could just go with this. They have to either reconstruct premium the whole format itself, or have some kind of rotation with it. I mean, they may end up going back to different formats, because V format just wasn't good. I don't know because of the failure of V format, they may not even want to do that. So well, it's like I said, like all these suggestions I think are good, but it's just whether or not they even have the capacity to eat or personnel to even like actually figure out and construct all this. That's the problem. That's really the problem right now for it. And, and for all we know, maybe they are thinking about that right now and they're not ready to tell us anything. Maybe they are thinking about something like that. I don't know, right? But a business is never going to tell the player base what they're thinking until they actually make a decision on something. But it's like I said, I have a feeling if we don't hear anything like right away, I have a feeling that as we get close to the end of D format, they are going to introduce something. And it's probably going to be a lot different from what we've been having over the years. But that's just kind of like my hot take prediction. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I also think like Bushiroad is trying to because that, as you guys were saying, they have to make money. So in a way, I feel like that announcing Buddy Fight was one of their ways of trying to gain profit, because they also knew that Buddy Fight was popular. So I feel like that's what they're trying to do. Brave is that. Well, I mean, obviously not for Japan, but it's coming up for us in December. And I also see that as another approach to mass income at the end of the year as well. It's funny because we had other collabs, right? For example, as much as Gabe hates that deck, Love and Berry was also a collab um, that we didn't get, right? But they didn't give it to English because they knew that the players in English would not like it. So, but for example, Brave Burn, that just came out in in Japan, and now we're actually getting it a lot sooner than we thought. So, I mean, I think like for now, their main focus is to profit because and like I said, I wouldn't really know what their business revenue is, but if their business revenue is like to main focus trying to gain profit, then they're gonna try to hit us with nostalgia, and I feel like that another thing I can really predict that they're gonna try to do next year is that they're gonna bring back some of the clans that we want in standard. Like that's what I'm thinking, because they want us to spend more money. So if that's the goal, they want us to buy products. So that's
But in the
something I
scope
can
of
say.
premium, but in the scope of premium, it's really two questions. One, do they actually see premium to be profitable potentially at all in any shape or form? And if so, what could that be? What could that be in the form of? Because obviously, I'm not a business expert. I'm not part of their financial books. I don't know. It's very easy for me and anyone to say, "Hey, just release a set," and maybe it will sell, right? But obviously, releasing any product like that, any product, especially with tariffs going on, it's always going to be a risk because you can lose money if it fails.
Right.
So that's really what it comes down to. They are a business. They look at premium and they say, is premium even profitable? Can we make money off of premium? And if so, can we do that? And if is there a way? Can we do that? Right. So
Well, so I don't really think,
it's
and
really
like
all
I
it is.
said, is my guess, right?
Oh, it's definitely not.
Yeah, because
Right.
if you compare the set, right, that I think the only set that had success in the premium was the history collection. Other than that, like it was really bad set.
I think the first premium collection was banger.
Yeah.
And history collection. I think those two were,
Yeah.
and the
I always think
stride deck sets. Those sold out everywhere.
yeah. Like I figured that could be the way to go. I figured it would be a yearly thing. Because
That's good enough.
I don't know. I honestly, it's hard to say. It's really hard.
Well,
It's hard
I'll
to
put it.
say, but um, yeah. Go ahead, Sean. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I was about to say, like, I'll put it to you this way. Those deck sets were my entry point into premium, and I'm sure it was the same for a lot of other players. And if you notice a theme of the ones that they released, they're all force decks. If they were to just do Excel decks 1 year, protect decks 1 year, and then say, we'll hit this when we hit all three imaginary gifts, I think most people would be cool with that. Because increasing entry points is never a bad thing. And we see it with standard, they're willing to do that so many times.
On that, because And like I said, I can't really say for all over the states, but for our area for sure. Now that standard is populating and people are trying to get board with standard, a lot of people are trying to expand into premium. In our area, especially because like where our community is growing. So I can definitely see if we had like more, like example, like let's say they did another premium deck set. Like let's say they do it yearly. I feel like that would have been really good this year if they did an additional one this year, because then a lot of the new players that wanted to jump into premium would have just got a deck set. Just like the Dredrewd and the Leonore deck sets as well for standard. That's how a lot of the new people that were not interested in Vanguard started to get into Vanguard. Like we have a new locals that opened up, and we are having a lot of new players, and they wanted to get the deck set to start off. So I feel like that was a really good entry point. And if they do that for standard, I think standard community will grow. But
You mean premium?
Premium and standard.
Yeah. No, because like I have a whole dedicated video series of how I started premium off the deck set. Like I'm sure many players can relate to it. So.
And that's what I'm saying is like that's they really need to do a opinion every year, just because like that's a fantastic entry point, and that, from my opinion, would be a good way to kind of say, oh well, we do care. So, well, I guess like if I was Bushido, I'm like, okay, well, we're giving you premium sets, so stop complaining. So second is because it's a premium deck set that is competitively ready to play. That would be a very fantastic entry point for standard only players. So I feel like that would be a very fantastic way to support it. Would that be profitable? Percent like, because the thing is like Sean, you gotta remember is that it's not just about being sold out, right? It's about how many of those the store bought, and which locations bought it, and which like the amount they bought it, and then was it all out like after that? Like if a store only ordered like one case and one case had 8 of them, right? If that sold out, only 8 players bought it. But if
No, I get
yeah,
that, and that goes into the whole business side of things.
yeah,
I'm
of
not
course.
trying to counteract your point, but like,
Mhm.
like we're not a financial
Of
people.
course, of course.
We're not doing that. But I'm also saying at the same time, in my eyes, from what we all know, it was a successful product. It did its job, and people are still playing the decks from those deck
Mhm.
sets in every single premium tournament you go to.
Yeah,
It's like
Oh,
stated
100%.
earlier, if it sells well and they don't keep supporting it, that all but says they just don't care. And that's,
really
like I
is.
said earlier, a lot of premium players or just players in general just kind of want Bushiro to say the words.
Yeah,
Like that's it.
yeah. I mean, honestly.
I mean, really, the best if players are even wondering what they can do, best thing you can do, and no, don't go like pick it outside the office or anything metaphorically. Just send a just and don't word vomit on every and on all the personal forums, groups, or whatnot. But I'd say just put together a professional email, send it over, send feedback, or I don't know if petitions would work. Doesn't hurt to try.
Put it in Chat GPT.
But just put together just a good, well thought out professional email for feedback. I think I've heard some players, they mentioned they have done that over the years, to give feedback, and they got responses, so they do read them. But obviously, if you're just saying, if you're cursing them out and stuff like that, they're not going to listen to it. They're not
Yeah,
going
it's
to
not
bother.
it's not professional, so they wouldn't listen to it.
But I think the bottom line is, in the business perspective, something to think about. I'm not like taking a side or anything like that, but it's more of like, is premium actually profitable? If so, how do we make it profitable? And also, in addition, I'll add is whatever, if we were to release something right now, would it be future proof to whatever plans we have later? Because again, we're getting close to a shift in format that does change the whole landscape of the game, and that could potentially change premium or change the formats overall. For all we know, we may not even get a premium format anymore. It'll be like a different format. It could be D and like G
DMT,
and
DP format.
or GBD format or whatnot. Maybe they'll have vintage format, and then they introduce a vintage set, and we play old school Vanguard, but with updated triggers. I'll stop. But stuff like that.
I just got a small glimpse into the future Gabriel wants for Vanguard. And I'll tell you right now, Gabriel, I may not have done it for Trump, but I'm going to do it to you. When you start coming into power, I'm going to come down now.
You live in Utah.
Yeah, but I think it's about looking at the big picture like that, and it's not something that a lot of players may want to hear. But the reality is that Bushiroad is in control of all of this, and if it's not going to be profitable for them, then it's it's not going to work. Because buying old sets because buying boxes that's already sitting in store shelves, Bushiroad already got the money for that. They don't make money from that. Buying secondhand stuff, they don't make money from that. They gotta sell fresh product. I remember when the deck sets first came out, I actually thought that was gonna be a routine thing. So I'm with Sean. I'm like, why not just continue that? I remember back in the days with the Stride era, that was one of the most exciting parts was seeing, oh man, what's gonna be the next trial decks?
Yep.
Because that's how you get staples, and that's how you kind of figure out the next deck to build and stuff like that. So I do kind of, as an old school player, I do kind of miss that point of Vanguard because that was pretty exciting.
Mhm.
And everyone just kind of hops into it, and it's an entry point for everyone.
No, I
But I'm
think
very curious
Sean
about
brought up
that.
a really good point on the deck sets. Like I actually believe the deck sets were probably the best thing that, at least
I
like for
agree with them.
me, that excited me.
Yeah, I think that could be exciting. And as part of the announcement, it's like, okay, cool. Now for premium, here's the next deck sets, and then that'll stir up everyone. Like, oh man, like I wonder where the next one's gonna
That's all they
be.
need to do. Like just once a year, just give us a deck set. Like good. Like you got to calm down the people complaining about premium support. Like that's taken care of. And then you'll also get more premium players because it's a deck set, so anyone can buy it. So
Yeah.
the
But I
the
mean,
better
that's really all I can say. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's really all I can say about it without talking in circles again. So,
Yeah.
that's just something I'm curious on. I wish I could be a fly in the wall with the translator or in their headquarters office meetings, but I don't know. That's
Well, how about you, Simon? You've been letting us kind of go off.
I mean, I gave my comments earlier about what people were talking about. Like, my opinion is pretty well known about the majority of this is that I'll restate again. If Bushiroad doesn't care about premium, state it because when you release cool products like they did with the Jewel Knight deck and everything, where they gave them like the new crests or whatever, when you do stuff like that, it gives people hope. But then after you give people hope, you don't give them anything after that. And so they just question, why do you even give us this? Right? Because when you give them something like those three decks, you set an expectation. And that expectation is no longer met. People get burned, and you recur a vicious cycle with your community and what they expect from you, the company. So I just don't like Bushiroad right now, to be completely frank. I don't like that they treat their customers this way. I don't like that their ban list is now being used seemingly as a vehicle to sell the next sets rather than for the health of the game. Like, I saw Konami do stuff like banning or limiting Veilord down to 1 and then giving a tutor in set 10 or 9, wherever that piece comes out. And then it's like, oh, we're going to sell you the problem to our own ban list. And I was like, I'm out. I'm done. It's like, you touch the forbidden fruit? Nah, I'm not about that, man. If I have to pick a company that's going to try to burglarize my wallet, I will at least pick Magic because Magic just did their Final Fantasy set. So I have that to fall back on at least. Like, to be completely frank, it's like I mentioned in the last one, I don't trust Bushiroad. And the fact that I trust them as much as Konami now, I'm like, dude, you guys used to be higher than Wizards for me. Now, like, with the crap you've pulled on not just me, but on the community, you've dropped down to co-money level. I'm like, nah, I think this is a good time to retrospect, step back, take a look at the game, see where it goes. I don't need to play every set like I used to. I've got Final Fantasy to keep me occupied, which I finally finished buying all my last cards for, thank the Almighty. And I just sit here, and it sort of like turns into a wait and see approach. I hope the game gets better. I love Vanguard. I'll never stop loving Blaster Blade. He is literally my favorite TCG card in all of existence. And I have a lot of emotional investment and time investment in Vanguard and its surrounding media and lore and anime. But if it's not healthy for me, I'm just not going to give them my time anymore. I really hope that the point I am at is not reached by other players that are currently really loving the game more than I do. And I hope that Bushiroad will be able to right the ship so that it takes care of these people. So not only will these people keep playing a game that they really, really like, I can come back after I've taken my break and after I've seen that they have righted the ship. I'm like, all right, I'll buy a ticket. I'll take the next cruise with you guys. See what's up. Hopefully get more royal support and complain if I don't get more royal support, because that's all that really matters. As long as Blaster Blade is the most powerful card in all of Vanguard, I can be any format and I'll love it. Anyways.
I love the analogies tonight.
Right?
Buy a
I
ticket.
really I want to. I really do, Sean. I really do. I love playing Vanguard. Like, even outside of it being competitive, because I'm not a competitive player anymore. Bushiroad has stated over the last decade that they don't want the game to be competitive, and I finally just accepted that fact.
Yeah.
But I still love playing the game. I love building my custom slot machine to sack triggers against my friends and blow them away with an over trigger and a casual game, and then complain like a bitch when I'm playing in a paid tournament when I get blown away by an over trigger. Like, I love all of that. So I really hope Bushiroad can get it right, because I don't want Vanguard to die. It's the one Japanese TCG I did consistently play over and over again.
Yeah, it's valid. I mean, it's a very valid statement. I quit Vanguard for a while. Because I still like this game. So, yeah, I'm hoping that it's the best game, or it's the last game I could play personally. So, yeah, I hope they can kind of get their stuff together and kind of look at the overall and take care of their customers is what I hope for.
Yeah, because, man, they are doing a lot of stuff to piss people off right now. Like, I'm not in the premium space, as I have declared, and as Sean had to update me before we started recording. But
Yeah, I know.
premium
Thank
players
you,
premium players did not like the recent announcements for basically like no premium stuff, no ban list, no movement on that side. I'm like, no, I get it, man.
And surprisingly, like, as much as like I know that I always like I never think premium is a bad format, because if you look at the overall results in premium, it's always the same people that pop. So you can kind of see like it's very consistent. So if you put a lot of time and effort into the format, it's definitely one of the rewarding formats, my opinion. So you can kind of see that it is consistent. But is premium perfect? Not really, in a way right now too, if I make a fair point on that. But is standard perfect? Not really. But do we like playing it? Yeah. I mean, I think honestly that's all that matters is if you like the format, you like it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's like my thing with premium. I really like the format, but it has like just like every other card game, other formats, it has its own problems, and I feel like that's why like uh, I understand when players get upset about like, oh, this format's better, that format's better. But I think at this point, it's not about what format's better. I think the more key factor is, can we keep both formats alive? That's always I think that's like my bigger concern.
It's just making the card game just
Go
enjoyable
ahead.
for everyone. And most card games have different formats. I mean, it's not like a new thing.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Vanguard is still a unique game with its own unique mechanic,
For sure.
and
Stacking Simon is my pleasure.
Remember, you have to pay for it first.
But I would say this is a good wrap up time because we did kind of go into a lot deeper, like Sean mentioned before the recording. Sean's like, "Yeah, this is gonna be a whole topic. This is gonna take like a whole hour." It took exactly an hour.
Exactly how long?
An hour, because we started to talk about this the conference around like 20 minutes in recording. So yeah, it took about an hour, like you said.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and do our shout outs like regular times. Let's go with Sean first, and then we'll kind of go up the ladder.
I just want to say, like, as somebody who, as an ambassador for the game, like, that's the only reason why we all love talking about this game. We all want to be ambassadors for it. Somebody who is an ambassador for premium format specifically, if you really love premium format, just keep playing it. Um, the format's not dead just based off BCS, even though my BCS won't have it. There's still going to be a world champion. There's still going to be a top cut. There's still going to be prizes. As long as that's there, I would encourage you to keep play testing, keep playing hard, and then whatever happens out of this BCS season will happen. And who knows? Maybe if it is the last one, maybe you want to be the one to go out on top. But I'm not going to make that easy for you. So see you this fall.
Oh, true.
I'm gonna over trigger your ass so hard, boy.
Wait. Well, we'll talk about it after, but we'll definitely have to plan something to see together this season.
Yeah, so just I know we're a little more harsh on Bushiroad and where the game at was this episode, but just want to encourage everybody that we don't hate the Vanguard. We criticize it because we love it.
Agreed.
And yeah, and as
Only
David
weak in
gave
the
me
first place.
the premium card on this thing to kind of lead the discussion, keep playing, keep working, and I'll see you at BCS. Hopefully, I over trigger you or you over trigger me. So that's all. Thanks for having me on.
Well, all of my opinions are always stated pretty openly. I will say, even if Vanguard goes under, I will never, ever regret the time I spent with the game. And I have the hope that the game will be able to fix the problems that I perceive so that I can come back and play it much more often. We'll see. And even if it doesn't, I'm never getting rid of my Blaster Blade collection. You have to tear that from my warm, dead hands.
I got you.
So good luck with that.
I got you. Send me the address. I got you.
Oh no, I'll just give it to you. You're fine. I'm talking about these kids that got in the game like 2 or 3 years ago. They don't even know what a Blaster Blade is. They look at me, they're like, "Oh, you mean that Yu-Gi-Oh card, Buster Blader?" I'm like, "Hey, that's what I thought at first. Well, I'm gonna smack you, boy. I'm gonna do to you what your parents should."
Back in my days, I collected a whole bunch of Barkles.
The Barkle binder from
Yeah.
You see my Blaster binder?
But go ahead, Gabe.
Just shout outs to the Vanguard community, all the listeners out there, all the premium players, all the standard players, all the V premium players, all 9 or 8 of you guys out there, and just looking forward to do some traveling for this within this next year for the events. There's still some nice cool events to attend. I always look forward to that every year. So I'm just looking forward to that. But just that's it for me.
Let me go ahead and do my thing. Shout out to our locals, Boa Hero, Kira Caverns, Anime TCG, and now newly opened Gaming Giant. So that's 4 locals that we have. Actually 5, because Kyrios has 2 locations. So make sure you guys check them out in Northern Virginia. Shout outs to Superstar Gaming located in Maryland. And shout outs to JP Curtain Calls. Make sure you guys use my code lowercase I AMVG for a 5% discount. And then shout outs to Blue 52 Cafe located in the Philippines. Thank you for sending me some jerseys and some stickers and some coffee. So I will be enjoying those at home. So and I'll have my shirts on in gaming events as well. So shout outs to that. And lastly, shout outs to Simon and Sean and Gabe that was able to come into this podcast super last minute because this was like I was like, hey, we need to talk. And I just told them, can you guys join? And they're like, yeah. So I
It's the
really
only way they
appreciate
let me out into the dungeon.
it.
It's my
Yeah.
only freedom.
I mean, this was a very deep topic I wanted to talk about with you all. So I think this was nice to talk about. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And we will be back with hopefully a more interesting topic. If not, any crazy topics that we can think of. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for listening.
No,
Bye, guys.